Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another night of Fandom Access. Yeah, Sci-Fi presents Sci-Fi. Can't talk too much.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
She made it. Hello, Ark.
Welcome, everybody.
Everybody who's listening. Nice to be here tonight. We're up against the presidential debate is live on TV tonight. This should be far more entertaining.
We hope.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the debates tend to be kind of entertaining when you have,
They do.
people that can't talk that want to run the country.
I was watching it. It's still on my TV with the sound off.
I'm not. I turned it off. I don't want to listen to it. I'll be honest.
Okay, well,
no, I'll listen to some of it. I don't. They're driving me nuts. After a certain point, I don't want to see them anymore.
Well, this is the first one, so I feel like I haven't seen them yet.
I know.
So, anyway,
part of it later.
We have kind of a shorty show again this week with only 2 shows airing. The Ark and Snowpiercer. Not a ton to talk about, but
no. Although I figured maybe I could talk a tiny bit, just recap kind of what we have coming up.
Sure,
so people know. Obviously, like we had said last week, we have Ricky Hay, who's going to be on our show on the 1st. Is that the right date? My brain is
It's the 1st.
I talk about the 1st, who's going to be on live to talk about From. Then I also found out, although not part of the podcast, but I will be speaking with Harold Perrineau for From. He's also from Lost, which is really cool, of course. And then the other thing that's coming up next week, which I'm sure we'll be talking about next week. I can't remember if AJ watched it. I know Karen, you did, but is Winona Earp Vengeance.
Oh yeah,
special that's coming. Did you watch it, AJ? You watched it?
I did not.
You did not. Okay, I couldn't remember. Sure. Well, watch it. It's good. Anyway, so that is this Friday. I didn't before. It just kept saying fall, and I didn't realize it had gotten a release date. So that's really awesome. I talked to Melanie and Tim the other day, which will be up at scifivision.com very soon, within the next couple days. Hopefully tomorrow, if I can get that far, but definitely before the premiere. And I talked to Emily Andrus today, who wrote the script and, of course, was the showrunner for the original show. That interview, though, will not be up until after it airs, because we talked about the ending, because I wanted to talk about the ending. It was awesome. So we will have that coming Friday night after the show. And also there is a, whatever you want to call it, live watch party tweet along thing on Friday night. I know that Emily's doing it. I'm not sure if all of them are doing it, but so I will be tweeting anyway at any rate. But yeah, I just figured I can't go into spoilers yet, but I was going to say I did like Winona Earp Vengeance. It definitely left open for more. We can only hope there will be more, which it seems like it's got, obviously it's got some strong fans. So hopefully Tubi will bring it back again. But it does feel like the original. It does really, I know they felt too filming like no time had passed, and it does just really kind of flow into it. Really good. And high stakes, but it's really good, and it's got Easter eggs and all kinds of great stuff.
I'm happy to see a 2-hour movie, but when you say bring it back again, are you talking about like people that want the series to come back on the air? Because for me, I think when a series is over, sometimes we need to let it be over.
Well, sometimes yes, but I think that it's definitely left, so there could be more. Does that mean there's going to be another series, another season? No clue. Could there perhaps be some more specials down the road? Don't know. But I know a lot of people would like to see it. I would like to see it, but I do agree. And we talked about how season 4 kind of had a really good ending. but you know, it picks up later and just kind of where they are. You know, it's purgatory. Things don't always go to plan.
Yeah, I'm happy to see a movie. I just don't think every series needs to that has an open ending means there needs to be more to come, right? Or that a show that is this long off the air needs to come back. You know, something like Snowpiercer, they needed to get it back on because it was already done. But I do like it, and I haven't seen the movie, so maybe I'll see it and be like, oh my God.
Yeah, they're calling it a special rather than a movie, but yes. But hey, I mean, who knows? Maybe there could just be a few specials. I mean, I'm not saying there has to be like a, 5-year weekly series or anything.
Yeah.
But I would definitely like to see more of the story, and it's definitely set up in a way that could happen in whatever form it takes. And if not, there's fanfic. We'll see, but we can hope. Right. I can hope.
We'll see what happens.
And I know a lot of people do, but I mean, it's really good. I really enjoyed it, and I don't want to say too much. I'll just say, there's a lot of the cast comes back. Even if they're not necessarily humongo parts, a lot of them do come back, and there's a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of fun things. So you probably look forward to it. It's like a 90-minute. Yeah, it's a 90-minute special, and that is on Friday.
Yeah, I'll be away for the weekend. I'll catch it when I get home on Monday.
Sounds good. Well, it's on Tubi, so you can stream it. But like I said, Friday night at 9 Eastern, there is a live tweet-along watch party. So
that sounds cool too.
So there's that. And then, of course, From's coming. I can't really, it's kind of hard to say anything about From without spoiling anything. All I will say is it is crazy. I've seen 5 now, and I absolutely love this show. And I cannot wait to talk to people about it. It's driving me nuts that nobody I know has seen it. And it kind of makes it harder because it's like I got to wait the whole time. Plus, it feels like because I, get to see part of it and then no more. So,
yeah.
But
only 2 weeks.
Yeah. But obviously that drops each week. So, but it's cray, and it's a lot of fun.
Jamie just said cray.
Yeah, it's cray. I don't know. That's the mood I'm in right now. It's crazy. No, but it's good. I love the show. So, and I did the whole rewatch. I rewatched it in whatever it was, like 2 or 3 days the other week, and in preparations, as I said last week, if you haven't, you have time. Go back and watch the first 2 seasons. They're on. I don't know if they're both on Amazon or just the first one is. You might have to get MGM Plus, but yeah. But they're on, and it's a good show. And then other than that, I think everything else, like I had talked about before, Teacups coming up soon. There's a new show with Julie Bowen and Bruce Campbell and some other people, Hysteria, that's coming soon. I haven't had a chance to watch that yet. But that's coming up, and hopefully I'll be able to cover that. I'm trying to think. I feel like there was something else. Wait, I'm looking at my calendar because I feel like there's something I'm forgetting, and I'm blanking. And my phone's making noise. Sorry about that.
Yes, I hear that music.
Oh, before. I told you guys about before. Jeez, that's my email. That was like ding, ding, ding. I guess I got a lot of email. That I had told you guys about that Billy Crystal show before. That's the Apple one. That's coming. And yeah, so a lot of good stuff coming. I mean, it's fall obviously coming, so there will be a lot of stuff. That's not surprising. But Yep. All right. Well, let's jump into it. Do you guys want to do the Ark first, or do you want to do Snowpiercer first?
Let's talk about the Ark first.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. This episode is called "We Don't Kill Our Own." Here's a nice picture of the whole crew there. It's called "We Don't Kill Our Own," and this is the clone mutiny episode.
Yes.
I mean, almost everything that happens is related to the clones, except for a couple of minor story points. So thoughts?
Yeah, I liked it. I gotta say, I did kind of figure, what's his name? Lane's clone. I just want to call him Lane's clone. That isn't his name. Ian. Sorry, Ian. I did figure he was going to help Barnett, and I think we all kind of figured he was going to give her the knife. But it was still a cool scene. I still enjoyed it. I saw it coming, but I still enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, they saved these people and they decided they're not going to listen to them, which obviously does not go so well for the clones, because we want our people to win. Yeah, it's like you said, it's a mutiny, and they gas everybody, or not it's powder, but it gasses everybody, it knocks everybody out. Except for, of course, Kelly, who Garnet turns on her abilities like right before it happens, so she can hopefully do something, which of course she does. And also Felix and Angus are awake too, because they were in the biodome thing, whatever you want to call it. It's not called a biodome, but you know what I mean.
It's called the biodome.
Is it called the biodome?
Biodome.
It is a biodome. I don't know if it's
or
called
the agriculture dome. Or
yes,
something like that
they're in there drinking their potato vodka. So they're awake, which of course it all ends up working out because they can wake up the people they need, and because they have the after Kelly uses the adrenal gun on Kabir, they can wake up the people they need. They just can't go around waking up everybody, because I guess it takes too long.
No, as long as they wake up the main cast.
Yeah, they just have to wake up the main cast. Exactly. That part was a little I'm like, whoa, you said you're not going to wake people up, then you wake up everybody. But no, but yeah, although at least she's like, turn it down. That's dangerous. I don't know. Dr. Kabir has gotten a lot of adrenaline in the past bit. So
she does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of liked it. I think that we saw the clone uprising coming, that it was not, we talked last week about what a generally bad idea it is to have all these clones, on board. We were a little off track with some of our theories about, are they threes, are they twos? Well, I mean, that could still come around, right? Yeah. And as to why they stole all those pills, it was actually to, like, there was a good theory going in the chat last week. I'm not sure who originally posited that maybe this drug would mask the effects of being a 3 and make them look like 2s so they wouldn't go crazy. But actually, it was like sleeping powder that they put into the air vent system, which, geez, I would hope that by the time we go to live in space, we would have better, like, HVAC systems. I mean, I think a lot of, like, buildings are currently built so that this could never that you can't pump poison into a building, right? But whatever. It was convenient, and it was also a convenient, not only was it the way they delivered the sleeping pill, but it was the way that everybody figured out how to deliver the antidote also, right? To pump it right into the same pipe and float it all through.
And Ark said she thinks it was Soul's theory.
It was a good theory.
Yeah. That's not what the drugs were for. And I got to question the design team. Maybe it's just because my dad has one, or maybe, but they so look like sleep apnea masks. They're breathing apparatuses.
Oh, I don't have a picture of them, I don't think.
Well, he was holding it. It just reminded me. But they look like sleep apnea masks. I'm sorry. They look exactly like sleep apnea masks, which I thought was funny.
Maybe that the prop department repurposed something
they
like
might
that.
Have. They might have. But yeah.
Or, yeah, you never know. So, it was an okay. I mean, it's a nice kind of, I mean, this is like a sleeping episode. We've seen these before in space episodes or other kinds of episodes where everyone falls asleep, and only one guy can, or everyone is held hostage in one room and only one guy. In fact, there was the writer on, I think it was on TV Fanatic, referred to this as Die Hard in space, in the sense that, everybody's taken off the table and there's only one person. In this place, Garnet, in this case, is the only person who's, like, taken to speak with the clones, and is the only person who maybe is able to save them, right?
Yeah. And Ark is saying, which is true, they're saying they don't kill their own, but clearly that's not true, because they try to kill Lane, they tell them to kill Garnet, they're clones. So yeah, they're not, they don't always maybe tell the truth, but
yeah, I have some other issues with them, but AJ, let's toss it to AJ for a sec.
So as we everybody that's watched I'm sure every person that's watched the show figured out and was right. Kelly was used for something heroic. We all knew it was coming. There was going to be some kind of threat that Kelly was going to be needed for, which is why, Garnett had to be the one to control her. And she did. And then she almost died doing it.
In this case, okay. Her artificial lungs allow her to not be able to breathe in the substance.
Yeah. Something else happened in this episode, though. We finally got Bryce's secret. Found out he was part of the moon issue. It's it's ironic, I think, and I get it. Here his I forget what the character's name was, but his co-pilot, didn't know that it was a suicide mission, and he just couldn't let her die. He was ready to go to his death and couldn't let her die, but by him not wanting her to die, everybody on the moon died. And it's hold on, Jamie, let me finish. It's so funny because and this is a trope that's been thrown around forever. How many times do we see a group of people go to save one person and all but like two of them die? And it's like, okay, you saved one person and you lost four. So it's like, I always wonder watching these things, like, just let that person die. Why are so many people dying to save one person that isn't any better than the rest of them?
The few versus the many.
Well, hold on real quick. Which now I think the dynamic between Lane and Bryce is going to be very interesting going forward.
Oh, I'm sure.
I guess so. I agree with you, AJ. Kind of. I found the explanation of Bryce's story to be a little bit underwhelming. So he sent on, I forget what the mission was, but he's supposed to fly a bomb up to the moon or something. I don't know what it was.
He was supposed to intercept the Eastern Federation ship from going to the moon. And basically blow up the Eastern Federation ship using his own ship.
All right, and so that's how it was going to be a suicide mission. He thought he was dying of lambkins anyway, so why not? I'll accept it. Which, although that's kind of... So he was keeping the Clampkins a secret, so presumably his bosses didn't know.
Right.
Right? It was just a coincidence they picked the guy who was dying to go on this mission. He decides to save Marissa. I think... did he do the right thing? Yes. Did he really? Lane gets all mad and it's like, you killed my father. But really, there's no guarantee that Bryce's mission would have been successful or that the father or anyone would have lived.
Yeah, they might have all blown up with him anyway.
Right?
That wasn't really...
Well, no, they were intercepting the EF ship before it got to the moon.
All
right.
Okay.
So nobody would have been blowing up from that. That would have been out in space. And hold on, real quick.
I know.
Which is very unusual. Usually, Ark is on the ball, but his co-pilot died because Kimmy was very upset about that.
Oh, that's right. She did. I think she died. Didn't she die separately though, or something? It wasn't.
No, she died in the crash.
Did she? Okay, I guess he was the only one. Okay, you remember more than I did. I don't remember that little detail. So.
At any rate, I found it a little underwhelming. I found Lane's you killed my father was a little bit, I don't know,
you killed my father. Prepare to die.
Bryce did. You killed my father. He did what he thought was the right thing. He did. I'm not saying, AJ, that you're not right or don't agree with you that saving one, when he could have saved many, there's a moral calculation there, sure. The idea that Marissa didn't know, right, is what, at any rate, and Lane's reaction is strong. There is going to be trouble with him and Bryce. I think it might be a setup where we think they've been moving Lane and Garnett together, but now Ian is redeemed he saves.
Yeah, I know.
Garnett.
I asked that. Remember, I asked him if there could be a love triangle. When I asked that, I didn't know there really necessarily could be, but now I'm kind of wondering. Like, I was half joking when I said that, and now I'm like, that would be interesting.
You know, he's kind of maybe less hot-headed, and I mean, Lane gets so pissed off about everything all the time. He's like kind of a hothead, right?
Well, that's Lane's thing.
I mean, are we moving these two together instead? I don't know.
We will see. We will see.
I mean, Bryce, you know, so I get it. I get why Lane is mad, but this was a sympathetic situation, I think, for Bryce. And then later he, like, you know, he talks to Sasha about Ava. And in the end, he like declares his love to Ava and says, I didn't love that he says, I can't see you being evil. This is the first time. It's still not established like what the Eastern Federation is or what's wrong. All we know is they were at war with the global space, the GSA, before Ark 1 left the planet. We don't know what their goals were. We don't know what they wanted. We don't know, like, I mean, saying you're not evil, like, I don't know. This idea of characterizing the people on the other side of the war from you as evil,
yeah.
Are they evil, like Hitler style evil, or are they just people like Hitler wanted to wipe out, like was genocidal, right? Or are they just people that were, I mean, it surprises me a little bit that we haven't learned more, and it makes me think a big info dump might be coming on the Eastern Federation.
Well, considering the way this episode ended, I would say we're going to find out quite a bit about the Eastern Federation next episode, considering there was a big warship in front of them.
Oh yeah, there's a big Eastern Federation ship. Like that might be this shot.
That's that shot is. I actually thought about you, Karen, because once again, here we are in space. We run across the Eastern Federation by chance because now remember, whatever their original trajectory was, Bryce and what's his name? Went in the shuttle and shifted the ship to change their direction. So their direction just accidentally led them straight to an Eastern Federation ship.
Yeah, that's quite a coincidence. Now that you mention it, that they were headed for their new planet, and then they get a bump, and now like the Eastern Federation shows up right in front of them. In the whole vastness of, I think that actually is on the clip from next week's promo, right? Like in the vastness of space, we just bump into them, like, and but I guess this is like so many shows that we watch where people just bump into each other all the time.
Well, they all watched Fallen Skies. That's what it was. They all watched Fallen Skies, and they said, "Hey, this is a good idea."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Ark is kind of putting words to my feelings. Like, we don't know if the Eastern Federation is bad guys. There are so many hints and questions. And yeah, history writes to the winner. The winner gets to define how people remember the loser. And the fact that people like Ava were in the Eastern Federation, okay, there could maybe be a nice, was there, I don't know, like she's a nice person. I don't want to say like, okay, well, I just watched Trump on TV and they were talking about there are fine people on both sides, but maybe the Eastern Federation and the GSA, there are fine people on both sides, right? Maybe it's more of a.
There's also bad people. That's the thing.
There's also bad people on both sides. You're right.
I mean, hell, look at Trust.
Yeah.
Look at Maddox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when the planet was beginning to be uninhabitable and they knew they were going to have to leave, like, of course there are going to be struggles for resources and factions that are trying to get off the planet and people that are maybe prioritized and deprioritized.
Whoa.
Sorry. That was some traffic going by my window there.
Okay.
A very loud, crappy moped went by. But yeah, I'm not sure that they are going to just be somebody really bad. Like, I'm trying to think of like even I was gonna say the Klingons, but the Klingons aren't like totally bad, but like maybe in Discovery in the alternate universe when but I agree. I think I'm hoping that this is going to be a more nuanced foe, and maybe these guys are going to meet the Eastern Federation and find out, like, are they really, I mean, isn't the vastness of space big enough for everyone? I don't know.
No.
Yep, and we were told by the guests on this show, I think, that episodes 9 and 10 are going to turn the world up on its side. And I think Reese Ritchie said, "You'll never see it coming because we didn't see it coming."
Yeah. Actually, was it Reese or was it Rich? It was one of them.
One of them.
I thought Richard said it. But
here's a theory.
Well, she's saying Christy said it too, but
she's saying Christy said it, so they've all said it. That's what we're getting at here.
Do you guys think Sasha's Eastern Federation?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, could be. I think there's somebody else that is, at any rate. I feel like there's definitely going to be like another. We didn't see that one coming. Like that, meaning like not us, Kimmy and the other one didn't see that there was another one. I
guess. I mean,
explain.
I kind of wish he wouldn't be, only because we already have 2 Serbians, Sasha and her brother, who are in the Eastern Federation, and Sasha is Serbian, right? And like,
yeah, it's a little.
Is it going to be the Serbian Federation? Like, I don't know if it truly is. I mean, is it? I guess it's Eastern in the sense that maybe people who lived in Eastern Europe made the Eastern Federation. I don't know. But I mean, he's tight with Sasha. I mean, he's tight with Ava. And he could be. I mean, the fact that so Kimmy and Letty are like undercover agents who are supposed to be finding Eastern Federation sleepers among the arcs. They're a couple on every arc, right?
Uh-huh.
And so does that foreshadow that somebody has to be true Eastern Federation? Like Ava, it seems to be might be like former or like regretting or like
Yeah,
Ava
but it feels like there's going to be
Ava,
one that's not.
So,
I agree with what you're saying.
Ava seems like it's going to turn out that like her father was like the leader, so she had no choice.
Like that,
but
yeah.
like if EF hunters were put on every arc, I assume that's because they're EF among the passengers and crew, like, infiltrated moles on every arc. So who's it going to be? It's going to be somebody, right? And if it can't be Ava, it's too obvious. And she's already like, I don't want to be, right? Like, Sasha's a good guess. Because of all the people in this picture, if it wasn't Kimmy, like, it's not any of these people.
It's Lane. His whole "you killed my daddy" thing is to throw everybody off.
Yeah, or he could be like brainwashed and be activated like Kelly.
There you go. Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but he's got a clone, so I doubt that. Yeah, and there's Griff too.
Also Serbian.
That's what I was going to say. She's Serbian too, as well, isn't she? Yeah, I don't know that there's
pattern here.
All of one. I don't think they're going to make all of the Serbians bad. That would be not good.
I mean, they shoot it in Serbia, right? That's one reason there's a number of Serbian actors on the show. They shoot it in Serbia, right?
I did not know that. I wasn't sure.
Or they shot season 1 in Serbia. They might have been in London this season. But I mean, Griff could be. I mean, that doctor guy. Probably not. Lane could be like, maybe the reason Lane was taken out and raised separately from his other clones is maybe he's a sleeper agent. He doesn't even know it. And he could be turned on. His father's a big old jerk. Maybe he could be activated.
Yeah, I do think it would be interesting to find out where the clone's organs went. Did he get them and not know it? Like when he was a kid or something? Or was it his father? Or is it possible maybe the clones went to save his father and his father's alive and we don't even know it? I mean, who knows?
I mean, maybe transplants are easier and you don't have to be a genetic match anymore and your organ go to anyone. But I think maybe that's a red herring, and maybe the cloniness, like Lane's clone story.
Good grammar, Karen.
Oh, I just made that up. But maybe
being sarcastic.
It's all filmed in Serbia. Thank you, Ark. It's all filmed in Serbia with Serbian crews. Maybe all that stuff, it's horrible how they raised the clones, but maybe the reason he was taken away by his father was not just because he wanted a son, right?
Right, yeah.
We'll find out.
Yes, we'll find out.
Yeah, that's what Ark's saying, thinks his father's still alive. That's why I was saying, I wonder if maybe like that's why the clone's body organs were taken to save his father and we just don't know it or whatever. That's kind of where I was. I mean, I don't know if that's why she had that theory, but that's kind of what I was heading towards, is I think maybe he's alive. Yeah. Maybe his father's Eastern Federation. Yeah, who knows? I'm just spitballing.
That's what
here.
I'm saying. Maybe his father's Eastern Federation and got a clone that he could program to, wake up on the Ark, and I don't know.
We've also speculated maybe Lane's his father's clone, although I still think that if you looked exactly like your father did when they were young, you would probably know it, but I don't know. It would depend. I don't know. It would depend on photos, I guess, if you saw photos or not.
I mean, we just watched a whole show where it was made obvious to us that there are ways to get around that on Orphan Black, where you can construct an entire past for someone and they don't know about it. So
it's sci-fi. They can do a lot.
Yeah. So pretty good. Not the greatest episode we've seen this season, I think, but pretty good, pretty okay. It's always pretty good, right?
Yeah.
The other things that are still out there. So we talked about Bryce. I mean, do you guys think this is the whole story? I don't think this is the whole story.
Oh, no, definitely not.
He's not in the East. I mean, that could be a lie. That story about Marissa could be a lie. It could be a cover story, right?
Definitely could be.
Could be, but I don't think so.
All right. Well, there's something else. Do you think? I mean, he could be Eastern Federation, or do you think there's just more in his past that we don't know about?
I think we got his secret, and who else we need to learn? We still need to learn Angus. We got, we only got so many episodes. We still got to learn Angus and Alicia's secrets.
I think she's going to turn up pregnant. I think the fact that they made a big deal about her getting a birth control implant, which I can't. I thought everyone would naturally. I thought all the women of childbearing age would probably have just had one. You can't go to space without, it's like standard on so many space shows.
Well, apparently they trust them, that they're telling if they're having sex.
No, I
agree with you. I'm saying on this ship, they trust them.
No, I think it's a plot hole or a writing hole, or it's a setup for her to turn up pregnant, which is going to be part of this whole. I think it's going to be part of this whole thing about who's a perfect genetic match and who's not, and it was all set up that they're.
It doesn't matter.
And let me finish. She turns up pregnant, and then Trust starts in with you're not matched together. You're not supposed to be having a baby, and then everybody finds out about the match.
Trust, the new lead engineer.
Yeah,
hasn't Garnett learned yet?
Yeah, that's gonna go well.
That's gonna blow up in her face.
What could possibly go wrong with that, right?
Yeah. And Ark says Roger thought that too. I don't know if she means about the pregnancy or about Lane's father, but Roger thought one of those.
I think she means about the pregnancy.
Yeah, probably. She said it out.
I think that's how it's going to get out to everyone. She's going to turn up pregnant, and then it's going to come out that you're not supposed to be. And again, if you want people to only reproduce with their perfect match, you should have shot them all up with a nice implant before they went into space. But I guess you thought they'd be asleep for 10 or 20 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're gonna have a baby. They're gonna get pregnant. Those
probably.
Two.
Probably.
Yeah. So, and I guess that's all that really happened, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So we can move on to our next show if you guys want to.
Snowpiercer.
Good.
All right. This was episode 8 of Snowpiercer, which was called something about a cross. I forget what it was called.
Weeping Cross.
Weeping Cross.
Yeah. Do I have the right recap?
Yeah, Weeping. I don't know. Do you?
No, I'm just looking at it. That's not what it says at the top, but it might just be they changed the title with the article. Yeah, no, this is the right one. I just always have a recap in front of me. I feel better. I can refer to it. Just making sure. Yeah. So
Weeping Cross. Okay.
So Big Al's makes it back. Javi's alive. What's his face is alive.
What's his face?
And you know how.
Oh, Roche.
Character's name. Well, Roche is alive too, but I meant because. Oh, that's right. She meant Javi. Never mind. I was thinking.
I was very excited when I saw Roche. When Roche was, she was like,
yeah.
He's like, Josie, it's me.
Story though. He basically like told this tall tale. I want to know what actually happened.
Oh my god, I was so pissed off. I was so pissed off the whole episode. Like every time he would
tell us,
story,
we want to know.
Every time he went to tell a story, he's like, oh, he would get interrupted, and it was so fucking funny because it was pretty obvious what Ruth was going to do, but when Ruth, I was like, I swear to God, if he gets interrupted from telling this story again, Artie, the smart ass, pauses the show. I was like, what are you doing? And he starts smiling, and I was like, you son of a bitch. I was like, fucking hit play. And then he tells his bullshit story. I was like, man, I want to know what actually happened.
Yeah, maybe it's some version of that. We don't know.
That's funny, you guys, because I mean, it was funny, but I don't really care. I don't really need to know. And I didn't even, it's not something I took away after I watched the season the first time. I had totally like forgotten about it.
Well, we're watching it
until I watched it,
which obviously.
Well, yeah, until I watched it the second time, I was like, oh yeah.
I mean, I want to know. I mean, there's a story there. I mean,
yeah, Art thinks there's some kind of story there too. But I don't know. It sounds like maybe we might not find out. So maybe we might have to just accept it. I guess we'll find out.
I mean, it was a great pep talk. It was a great story.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's the version.
I'd like to know what actually happened. I'm sure what actually happened wasn't clearly wasn't as interesting. I mean, he got to the part of Bigfoot, and that's what they called. He's like, really? This is now you finally call bullshit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I just assumed it was the snowcat that belonged to some. I guess he and Oz. We didn't see them overcome any soldiers in previous episodes. I guess I wasn't paying attention to that, or I got distracted by some of the other way more interesting and exciting stuff that happened in this episode. I mean, for the most part, it was kind of a setup episode. Like we saw, Andre and Josie were trapped on the train. They get away. Alex is moving around, doing whatever. Nima's like trying to get the train all set up.
Alex knows he's full of shit.
But that's the thing. Alex was on to him from the start.
Yeah.
So I thought she was going to play it differently.
I know.
I was a little disappointed in Alex. Yeah. I was kind of expecting Alex to try and like search for her mother, but that would mean actually having to have her in the episode.
Mm-hmm. I just figured that she might turn around and get the soldiers on her side and do something unexpected. I was hoping, but that didn't happen. Instead did what they wanted. They did have guns on her, but
as I watched this episode and I thought about I don't know what has been going on this show, and as I watched it again today, I thought about the show. I'm missing some photos that I uploaded here, have gone missing. But I was watching it and I thought, well, who taught her everything she knows? And do we think that she really just was like, okay, there's no better plan. Let me lead these guys into New Eden. And I'll like go take over the computer. Or
I guess we think less people.
Or let me finish. Or do we think that Mr. Wilford has taught her so much about lying and planning, and always have a backup plan, and always anticipate your opponent by 3 steps. Like, I don't know that we might not see her. As I watched this, I thought, I don't know that we might not see her have something up her sleeve.
No, I kept waiting for her to have something up her sleeve, but her decision was to try and just get Big Alice with no casualties. Like, she was really fearful that everybody was going to die if they resisted. That was her whole thing.
Okay, but the whole part of her getting Big Alice with no casualties involves getting to this computer and reprogramming a bunch of shit. And that is where she has the greatest freedom and control, and the soldiers don't know what she's doing.
Yeah, she could do anything.
Moments, right?
But so all doing that room is just change the track.
Okay, we haven't seen anything happen. She hasn't, like, the door barely opens at the end of the episode. I'm saying, how do we, like, they don't know. Like, I'm saying, like, so you don't think Alice, so I guess what we're saying is you don't believe Alex has something up her sleeve. I believe Alex might have something up her sleeve. And I'm not saying
I'm
not saying it based on that. I'm saying, having watched this episode, that's what I really thought, was that she could have something.
I think they should have gotten rid of the switch.
I personally thought she had something up her sleeve until that point. Until she sees Josie and says to Josie, this is the only way to save everybody. I guess that could be still something up her sleeve. But I don't know. I just don't see what she's going to do in a room that the primary purpose is to change the track. I don't know. Maybe she can.
I don't know, but Boki was right. They should have just destroyed the track.
No, they can't. They might have to,
or not the track, the
someday
switch or whatever.
They might need it someday.
I guess that's true. It wouldn't be that easy to fix.
No, and I'm going to argue, AJ, that the purpose of this entire room we're looking at is not solely to change the track. And I believe there's a bunch of other shit that
they literally called it the track, the track changing room.
There's like at least 3 computers. There's a radio. They talked. I just don't. I just think maybe there could be. Okay. Also. Fine, but maybe okay, I agree with you. Maybe the point was just that there could be no other option except war, and that it seems now where we've gone is like now we're having another big battle, and there's only 2 episodes left, so probably that's what's happening now for the rest of the show, right?
And the other problem is Alex doesn't know what her mom knows, that Project Genesis is not ready to launch, and that by her succeeding in getting Big Alice, to keep everybody safe, might actually end up making things worse. Let them fight.
Yeah, that's another surprise that Alex wouldn't have caught.
It's her data. I kind of wonder that she didn't do.
It's Melanie's data.
Well, part of it was.
It's a combination. It's a combination of the two. But Alex is like, that scene with her and Nemo was pretty good, actually, where he's like, I know what it's like being the smartest person in the room, and I'm thinking, yeah, and she still is.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, how do you guys feel about it just being so that now Nima is I just can't believe I'm watching a show where the bad guy is a guy that wears a cardigan that looks like this.
You know what it is, though? He is the de facto leader because the others are dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's the leader by default. There is no world where he's the leader. He's not even convincing. Like, he's making it up as he goes along. And I think even the soldiers know that, but the soldiers are like, screw it. This, our last orders from what's his face, Milius was, this was we know this is what Milius wanted, so screw it.
Yeah, that's also a little surprising, right? That all these soldiers are going along with this guy.
Well, yeah, because that's been their thing all along. What else are the soldiers going to do?
I don't know, but like I'm pretty sure that in the military, if your commander gets killed, the next ranking guy becomes the commander, not the random civilian
Not
who,
the scientist,
right?
yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure that they are supposed to defer to the next ranking officer or to call headquarters, call the silo and be like, hey, he's dead. What should we do? Right? Like,
Yeah.
Or you get pissed off, or you get pissed off at your wife and gas everybody else and take over.
like I guess it.
And
like,
maybe
is
they're
there
just scared of him.
is there literally nobody in any kind of control now that Milius is dead, and there's just like 5 guys with white masks that are like it's a little right. It's a little surprising to me. That they, but I, I mean, we need the story to go somewhere, so I get it, but I'm like, really, these guys are just listening to Nima, who's like completely, not only is Nima, not really a military ranking officer, but like he has been so diminished and demeaned and humiliated by Milius in every scene that we saw, that's another thing that surprises me, that these soldiers would suddenly be like, oh yeah, let's start following this guy that our boss treated like the biggest loser ever. But again, we got to have a story. It's I don't know how I feel about this guy turning out to be.
Yeah, it just seems surprising they'd all follow him, I think, is the problem.
Yeah, he's just, and that's the thing, he's not even really a villain. He's just, I mean,
evil
he's just
scientist.
wrong. He's just wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he isn't willing to listen to the fact that
he's not really evil.
That while he's trying to do something,
I said he's not really
he's trying to do something to help humankind, he's not willing to listen to the fact that he's going to make it worse.
And you would think after what he screwed up the first time, he would have learned.
And it's all because, he's like, well, the next window isn't for 5 years. Well, then wait 5 years. You got that. Then that means you have 5 years to perfect this. And in the meantime, we're perfectly fine living in the bunker and in New Eden and on a train.
Yeah.
We've lasted this long. We can last another 5.
Well, I mean, so yeah, I think that he's really desperate because he's the guy who caused it. He's like super desperate to correct it, and that's why he wants to believe he's right so much, right? Because it's his fault.
Well, that's part of it, yeah.
And he has to be able to correct it, otherwise, like, he's the guy who destroyed the world, right? So there's that part of it.
You still got a chance to be that.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of really what he's after, but I mean, we're not all fine in New Eden. That's part of it, right? Like Alex's nosebleeds indicate that they're not maybe fine at New Eden.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, it's going to take. I mean, they a couple episodes when she was explaining it and everything, they still have some time. I don't know if they have 5 years time, but like I said, I mean, we still have the bunker. You can go back to living on the trains until you have a window.
They can live on the train
and perfect it. I mean, there's options to, while you wait 5 years. It doesn't have to be now.
No, I agree with you on that. And I think he's just so desperate to be the guy who fixed it that and maybe also partly with Milius pushing it, he started to believe it more. And I mean, he's wrong. I'm not saying, right? He's definitely wrong. And also the way I mean, there were parts of this episode also where Nima's like, you sure the only way is to blow up the town? And the other guy's like, yeah, that's really the best way, is just blow up the town. And that I complain every week that the way they're saving the world is by wiping out like 50% of the people who are still alive in the world.
Yep, that's a problem.
It continues to be really difficult to understand. In what way that makes sense. But I mean, for a guy...
It's okay. Javi is going to save the day again. He's going to figure out the frequency and make that whole part null and void.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He said, if I can just figure out the frequency,
then
I don't have to disarm them, I guess, because he can just prevent.
Which is good, because he didn't do a very good job disarming the first one.
I know.
No, he didn't. He didn't at all. Here's the picture I was looking for. Like these guys, like. I mean, I also find it hard to believe that this is the side of Alex's head here on the left, that the people who are aboard Snowpiercer haven't figured out a way to there's literally like 4 soldiers on this train. And I'm surprised that they haven't been able to find a way to isolate them, take them out, kill them, neutralize them.
I feel like there's not that many people left on Snowpiercer at this point, though.
They're all over in New Eden right now, probably.
Pretty much.
Like pretty much everybody is in New Eden, getting ready to fight. Yeah, I guess they all got off, and I mean, I guess Nema's just going to repopulate the world with whoever's left in the bunker.
Yeah.
If he has to wipe out New Eden.
They should get the Juno project up and running.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, a couple things I really liked. I mean, it was nice to see Boki again, right? Although he got shot before the episode was over. So
yeah.
We'll see
I was very excited. That was the second time in the episode I yelled. I was like, Boki! Because I was just asking, I was like, what the hell happened to him? Like, I was just asking him, 2 weeks ago? I was like, where the hell's Boki been?
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a long time. It was really nice to see how excited Oz was when Roche was alive and how he, like, ran right up and hugged him. When he was, like, talking to his daughter, who also we haven't seen in a while. It was nice to see her. But mostly, like, I mean, how do we feel about a big war coming?
Excited. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
And we got to see the band get back together. The original 3, the hell do we call them again? Bootstraps?
Jack
Boots.
Jack Boots, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Till
I really like the scenes with Audrey and Phil.
Yeah, they're great, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're a great couple. I like them a lot.
And you know what? Listen, we captured Dr. Quackers, and Audrey will be fine.
Dr. Quackers.
She doesn't look that bad.
She doesn't look that bad. And Dr. What's her name? Broadwood, Bentwood, Quackers. Dr. Quackers can fix her up.
Exactly.
I have a question.
Probably even help with her vocal cords, which apparently her vocal cords are going to heal eventually. Anyway.
Yeah, probably. But I was curious. That speaking of Dr. Quackers, she's like telling Neiman, whatever his name is, you know, the best way to do it if you want to not lose life is to do this. Do you think that she cares? I mean, I just was curious, kind of how, like, do you think that she really cares? Is she doing it for her own benefit, saying that? I just was curious what you guys thought when she made that statement.
She's an enigma wrapped in a conundrum.
Yeah.
I think I don't know, which is why I call her Dr. Quackers, because she's nuts. But she's smart, you know. I mean, like the stuff, the science behind, you know, what she did to Josie and Boki and Bob and now Wilford and now the baby. I mean, she's scarily she's a brilliant scientist. She's just more Dr. Frankenstein than physician.
In answer to your question, Jamie, yes, I do think that she hopes to avoid unnecessary loss of life. And while she has a very loose moral compass that allows her to experiment on babies and other people, because science, she wants to advance science or whatever, I don't think that she really wants to see a lot of loss of life. She thinks she's a good person,
but she's clearly not.
Well, I mean, is she a bad person? She's a better person than Milius. She didn't actually kill people. I mean,
but most of the people on Snowpiercer are a better person than Milius. That's not saying
fair.
I mean, she did experiment. So she did experiment
on a baby. That's not so bad.
Zara agreed to it. The pregnant mother agreed to it.
The pregnant mother may have agreed to it, but that still don't make it okay to experiment on a baby just because the mother said go ahead.
She experimented on the mother who was pregnant at the time, and she had informed consent. She had informed consent.
That's true, but I kind of assumed that when she had the baby, when they took her away from Leighton, that she was still doing things. Did you not think that?
Yeah, I thought she was doing things. I think maybe, but now it appears maybe she was just taking her blood to transfuse it into Wilford, so that he could have the benefit of the treatment to be ice proof. But that was a medical treatment that the mother agreed to because she wanted her child to be ice proof. And we might not agree with the decisions Zara made, but she made an informed decision.
I guess, but Josie did not. So,
well, Josie was going to die, right?
And if she was still experimenting on the baby, then that was not okay. So I think it.
Well, we don't really know.
We don't know.
Look, I'm not saying
we don't know for sure.
I'm not saying that I agree with it or that it's not ethically inexcusable, right? But she doesn't really. I mean, she never set dogs to chew up Javi's face like Wilford did, right? She's not the most. So anyway, yes, I think she doesn't really want to see those people all get killed if not necessary. And right,
because if they're dead, she can't experiment them.
No, but I also think she's doing those experiments because she believes it will help humanity to survive the ice age if they're ice resistant, if they're cold resistant, and she's doing it because she's really doing it for the same reason Nima's doing it.
It's actually really funny. I was just going to say, in a way, she's actually more helpful than Nima.
Yeah,
she didn't destroy the world. So,
well, no, I'm just saying she's trying to help everybody to be able to survive the cold, whereas he's going to make it. He's about to make it worse.
Yeah, she's doing bad things for a good reason. Yeah, which is, the motivator for so many villains in so many stories. But yeah, she's trying to make people more and while Josie didn't give consent for what we saw for her blood being transfused into Wilford or for some other things that we saw, Josie was going to die, and Josie also has kind of embraced the and it's wearing off, right? Is it just wearing off?
I don't think it's wearing off. It's that she can't feel. It's that the numbness.
She's losing feeling because of the treatment.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're
assuming that she perfected it with Wilford, but we don't really know.
I don't have a picture of her, so sorry. I'll just put this picture up there instead. Or maybe I'll just put this picture up there because, my hero, Ruth. But yeah, I don't think we're going to find out much more about Hedwood or whatever, but I think Jamie, I think that she really doesn't want to see those people die if they don't have to.
Okay. I was just curious. All thought.
Seeing the picture of Ruth reminded me, how come Ruth and Till were driving the train? What was Miles doing on Big Al?
I know. That's I thought they needed an engineer.
You talk about how you need these engineers all the time, and the only engineer on the train, and he wasn't in the engine.
You're not wrong. Maybe I guess they think we didn't notice that.
I mean, maybe he was somewhere else, or maybe we just can't have this giant cast on screen all the time. This might have been shot.
A lot of people to pay.
I'm not sure if this was shot before COVID, or if people had to be deprioritized because they needed a smaller set with COVID. I'm not.
No, this is definitely.
Yeah, I think this was shot after. I would think.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I loved Ruth in this. I love Ruth in every episode.
Yeah.
And I just love how far she's come. And I hope that we get to see her. So we saw her she comes out with Andre and they're being shot at, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna, cover you or whatever. But Ruth is not really a fighter. Ruth's a strategist. So I'd love to see her get to stab a few people before the season is over.
Well, she's headed for Big Alice while he draws their fire, so.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Maybe she'll get her chance. Oh, and you know that scene right before the shit hit the fan when they were doing the toasts, as she's pouring the drinks, I'm sitting. I said, "Already," I was like, not everybody standing at this table is gonna make it out of the show. Like, there's gonna be some deaths of the people that were at the table, and I'm pretty sure Oz is gonna be one of them. Oz is gonna have that saving the day moment, his final redemption.
Like his redemption arc requires one more deed. He's not.
Yeah, he's taking a bullet for somebody.
He might have to. He's come a long way, but he needs maybe a little bit more redemption before he gets out of the story. I could see Roche maybe not making it because he had that moment in this episode where he says to his daughter, he says, "I'm so proud of the woman you've become." And she says, "Oh, can I have a drink?" No, over. She says, "Does that mean I can have a drink?" And he says, "No, over my dead body."
Oh, wait. I was.
I know. I was questioning too. She looks.
Isn't she like at least 18 by now? Well, wasn't she like 16 in season 1?
Yeah, I think the kid, she could be like, she could have been as young as like 14. But yeah, she's 16, 17, 18.
I still kind of feel like in the apocalypse, you could let your kid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
18, like.
I mean,
exactly what I'm saying.
It was a funny line. I think it was more for the laughs.
Yeah.
But yeah, she does seem old enough to drink.
They could be about to die, so yeah, maybe let her have a drink. But I just felt like that scene where he said, that was a scene where it's
foreshadowing it.
Yeah, feels like a goodbye, right?
Yeah.
It almost felt like a goodbye to me.
Could be. Hope not, but could be.
I don't know. I mean, we lost. It's hard to say who we could lose. Because we lost Ben. Ben's a big loss they gave us early in the season. And we lost Wilford, like, one of the stars of the show.
And Milius.
Still not sold on Wilford.
Yeah. Okay.
Wilford better show up in the final hour.
Wilford could show up. You never know. He always has a plan. Wilford could show up. I mean, the only one person who definitely, I think probably Audrey and Till would make it. I think probably Andre would make it. I think probably Ruth would make it, right? But I think a lot of supporting cast, I think you're right. I mean, Javi has been coming very close to sacrificing himself already throughout the season.
I feel like if you're an engineer, you're not safe. The engineers on this show.
Yeah.
They only need one.
They only need one. They kind of won't need
any. It's like the doctors. You only need one doctor on a show.
Yeah.
When you get 2 doctors, then you start to worry.
I know. Poor Kavir.
Yeah. You don't need 2 doctors. You don't need. They have 3 engineers if you count.
Well, they need 2 because they have.
They have 5.
But they have enough.
Wait, no, sorry. I was counting Ben. Ben's already gone. They have 4.
They have 4 engineers. Yeah.
Miles, Javi, Alex, and Mel.
Yeah. So I don't think this is going to happen. And I'm not even basing this on what I've seen or what I remember. I don't think it would happen, but I think there's a version of the show where where Melanie sacrifices so that Alex can live. Any mother would do it, right?
Yeah, I could see that happening too.
Yeah.
She's kind of done it already, like when she went out on the ice for like 6 months and they thought she was dead.
You know what's funny, actually? As little as we've seen Melanie the last 2 seasons, they would have been better off just killing her.
I kind of wonder that.
And it's actually funny because when we all thought she was dead,
they finally got back together,
and then turned out to miraculously be alive. I was okay then, but the fact that she's alive and we never see her bothers me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's always like off doing something. In fact, in this episode,
well, now she's held captive.
That might be part of what with production getting screwed up though too. I mean, maybe if it had all stayed on the same network and things didn't get messed up, maybe she would have been. Or was this filmed all before?
That has nothing to do with it.
Was this filmed all?
This was all shot and finished before it moved.
All shot and finished.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
I was just saying maybe she, backed out, but I guess you're right. This was already done. So
it was already done before the strike. It was in the can before the strike. It got
the strike wasn't even the problem. It was Max trying to save money.
No, it got canceled before the strike, and then they couldn't negotiate to get it
Right,
with other
yeah.
networks to get on the air.
Oh,
For
okay,
a
I
long
thought you were
time.
saying it got canceled because of the strike.
No, it got held up because the strike
Yeah, it got held up because of the
them
strike.
from negotiating.
Yeah.
It was like 2 years in the can sitting there. There was the scene where Alex says to Nima, "Where's my mother?" And he's like, "Oh, don't you worry about that. She's busy."
And I feel like Alex is like rolling her eyes internally.
Yeah, she was. She knew.
She knows to not trust that guy. That's why I think so. Maybe she didn't have a plan up her sleeve for how to get Big Alice, and so maybe AJ is right about that. But I think she has a plan of beating Nima. Maybe
She's quick on her feet, so I'm sure if she doesn't have one now, she'll come up with one.
Have one eventually, right?
Oh, and you know what I love in TV shows and movies and everything? You need a person who can do something you can't. So you threaten to shoot them if they don't do it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
When has that ever worked? like
You
I'm going to
kill
shoot
me,
you,
then you
don't do what I
lose.
want. But you
So
can't.
go for
You can't do it. But you can't do what you need me to do if you shoot me. So
Yeah, you're talking about that scene where the goon,
the
is
last
like,
shot of the episode, yeah.
it's like change the track and holds the gun to Alex's head because like if she doesn't do it, you're gonna shoot her. Well, you can't do it, or if you can do it, then just do it.
Yeah.
You don't need her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens on like every show ever. They're like, we're gonna shoot you, and like you can't shoot me, you need me, and then the bad guy's like, ugh. So 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
Did it feel, was it tense? Every week I'm like, was it tense? I've seen it twice, right? So it's not as tense to me as the first time I saw it.
I don't think this
one
week
wasn't as tense.
Yeah, no, this week was not as intense. And I'm sorry, but stop putting Leighton in jeopardy because we all know damn well he ain't going anywhere to the finale. If he dies at all, he will not die to the finale. So having Leighton, with frostbite, and Josie going, "Oh no," and giving him CPR.
Yeah.
Like who sat there going, "Oh my god, I hope Leighton doesn't die."
Yeah, I'm sure nobody believes for 1 second that Leighton might die in that scene, right?
Yeah.
He's not going to die, but if he was going to die, it's going to be in episode 10, right?
Right.
And that was what I was going to say. There's 10 episodes of this because
Yep.
there's 12 of the Ark.
No, there's 10.
No, there's 10 of the Ark.
Not according to Internet Movie Database. I didn't look.
IMDb is not like the
it's
most.
not always right, but it.
Yeah, don't trust that.
Is.
There's 10 of the Ark.
I haven't actually looked to see if the press release says, so I don't know.
Well, there are 10
we're telling you 10 so you know.
Yeah, but you're guessing. You don't really know.
I'm not guessing. I know for a fact there's 10.
No, I think it might have 12.
That's what I'm saying. It's showing 12.
That's just, I don't trust him to.
No, I don't always trust him either. I just usually with that, the amount of them it's right. I haven't looked into it, so I can't say, okay, Ark says there's 12. See, Jamie's right.
I mean, I'm not sure that Ark can be wrong also, but I think that
I do think there's 12, but I was going by Internet Movie Database, so I can't 100% say.
Other sources have said
there's 12.
that there will be 12.
We've been saying 10 episodes for weeks.
We have.
Did they magically put 2 more?
No, we just never looked and assumed.
There were 12
or at least me.
Year. There were 12 last year.
Okay, she said that both Dean Devlin and Jonathan Glasner said there's 12, so there's 12 then. So
okay,
confirmed 12.
All right. Well, the fact that we're talking about the Ark means we are done talking about.
Sorry.
Right?
Yeah.
So, means our show may have come to its end.
Yes.
Not quite yet. The boys and I finished Terminator Zero today. It was really good.
Oh yeah?
Yep, it was really good.
Finished that yet?
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I need to do that.
I want to watch it. I'm gonna put that on my list. Although I'm super busy, so I'll let you know when I get a chance to watch it.
just I mean I know you've probably seen all the other Terminators, so you know what it's like, but this one is really like just don't even try and think too hard about it.
I was going to say, how much do you have to remember about the other ones?
Oh, you don't need to know anything.
You don't?
You don't need to know anything about the other movies. What I mean is there are so many twists and turns with this that your brain might explode if you think about it too hard.
Okay.
I have read that this show makes an effort to correct some of the problems that were introduced by the multiple sequels, like that messed with timelines and things like that.
Well,
you don't need to.
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, I know what that. Yeah, I mean, technically speaking, yes, but I'm not sure how I feel about it because otherwise, we'll talk about it later.
All right, I'm gonna watch it. We'll talk about it when we all get a chance to watch it, which might take a couple weeks. All right. I guess that's all we got for this week, guys.
Yeah, all we can say is stay tuned and make sure that for everybody, periodically checks us out on, Facebook or Twitter, X, whatever the hell you want to call it. In case I still call it Twitter. Sorry.
So does everybody else.
Yeah, I know. What are you supposed to say anyway? You make an X instead of tweet? Like, what are you even supposed to say? If you
just say tweet like the rest of the world does.
Yeah. But anyway, make sure you do check that out in case we do get any more guests or anything in the meantime. Since we only meet on Tuesdays, if something comes up, it's hard for people to know unless they, you check on socials where we will post things because we're always trying to get stuff. So.
All right.
Okay, Karen, I finished For All Mankind season 4.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I thought Danny was a goner. I was surprised to see her at the end alive.
Yeah, me too. She's like...
She's off the show either way. I
Yeah.
don't see her being involved next season.
No, I don't see her being involved anymore. She's going to be in retirement or whatever.
Can't wait to see what Ed looks like in his 70s.
I don't know.
He's still gonna be there.
You guys just switched gears really quick.
It's a great show. I'm so glad AJ has caught up on it, and maybe we can talk about it when it comes back on for its last.
It's funny though. I've read that people have talked. All these critics and people say that season 4 is like the greatest season of television ever. I gotta say, 4 is not my favorite.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah,
I'm partial to some of the early seasons and once.
Me too.
And some of the early characters. I was really disappointed when Tracy died, and I'm partial to some of the very woman-focused kind of early stories. When Sonia Walger died,
yeah, Ellen got her happy ending though.
Yeah. Yeah, and the whole Margot thing. Yeah. Anyway, we can talk about it when it, it's gonna be back soon, I think.
Which won't be till next year at the earliest.
Yeah.
They just announced the renewal back in April, so
yeah,
it's gonna be a while.
Well, we got a whole bunch of other stuff coming up. All of our regular fall shows are coming up soon, so we got.
And the old man starts Thursday.
Super excited.
I think it's Thursday.
Cool.
Catch myself up a bit. So, all right.
And like I said, Winona's Friday. So.
All right. So that's our next big thing coming up as well.
Yeah. And
okay.
I'll have, hopefully, like I said, hopefully that interview will be up hopefully tomorrow. Not that it's sci-fi, but I also have Cesar Millan tomorrow I'm talking to. So, but that's not really in our.
You're talking to Cesar Millan tomorrow?
Yep.
Wow. Does he have a new show?
It's a show on National Geographic that he does. It's in its 4th season. So.
Oh, actually, are you guys both planning on seeing Beetlejuice?
I've never seen the original.
Nor have I. I've not seen the original either.
What, Karen? How the hell have you not seen the original?
Jamie,
nothing surprised me.
Jamie doesn't see a lot of them, but no, yeah, I
Karen, really?
I just have not.
No, I've never seen it.
How?
I don't know. Isn't it like a kids movie?
No.
I know that much, but
I've never seen it. I've never seen it. I've never. I've actually never made it. It's not like I've turned it on and got bored and turned it off. I've never made an effort to see it. I've never seen it. And I know, honestly, I'm not really interested in seeing it. It's
Tim
never.
Burton and Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I was only 6 when it came out. That would be why I didn't see it. And then after that, I just never got around to seeing it when I was old enough.
And it's Tim Burton when he was good, right? Like before the whole Johnny Depp fascination came on.
Some of the Johnny Depp.
Some of the Johnny Depp. I know, like Sweeney Todd and.
Oh, I hated Sweeney Todd.
Oh, I liked Sweeney Todd.
I've never seen it.
How did you not see Beetlejuice? That's what I said. Ark.
Yeah.
I was 6, so. And I never got around. I still should have gotten around to see it.
Ark said it too. How have you not seen it?
That's what I said. I said I was 6. That's my excuse. I was too little, and then I didn't bother.
I've never seen it, and I've never felt like I was missing something. It
didn't really appeal. I don't know that it necessarily appealed to me, but now that I've seen the previews, I kind of want to see it. I'll be honest. But if I'm going to see the second one, I need to see the first one first. But it's on like one of the streaming networks, so I'll probably eventually see it.
I guess I don't really watch comedies. I'm not sure I would call it a comedy, but
it's like a sci-fi.
It's like a dark comedy.
Yeah, never seen it, so it's not on my list. Sorry, AJ.
Shocker. I'm just surprised. It's one of it was such a huge thing back in its day that I'm surprised usually you oh well.
Yeah.
Answer that question.
I guess it came out. I guess I was busy that year when it came out.
That year. You're funny. But yeah, you can talk about it when you see it if you want. But like I said, I am going to.
That's all right if you guys haven't.
I'm sure
I was in college when it came out, and I guess I had better things to do.
Go to keggers.
Yeah. So. So before we go, we should mention that our colleagues on NDB Media are going to interview, I want to say her name correctly,
probably
Tiana Upkeva. The actress who plays Ava, I believe, is who she is going to be interviewed on NDB Media. Is that on Talented Universe? Maybe. I can't go and check the schedule, so we're just going to have Ark tell us. Oh my God. I just promoted your show, and now you're saying that you need to reevaluate me because I didn't see Beetlejuice. But that's on the 21st, which is next Saturday night, a week from Saturday. She'll be interviewed here on NDB Media. So Ark fans, make sure you watch that. And I will not hold it. I will not hold it. I hope I can still remain friends with you guys.
There, of course, is one more thing that we must discuss real quick, because I would be remiss without mentioning the passing of James Earl Jones yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Artie told me, and my jaw hit the floor. I mean, it's funny. Like I knew he was up there. He was 93, but it's just, I mean, he hasn't really been in the spotlight in quite a while. So the last time I saw him, he was still pretty chipper. So
his last film appearance was the recent Coming to America.
Right. And that was 2 years ago?
Yeah, that was his last, and who knows when he shot it. That was his last film role. That's a great loss. He's a giant of he's an EGOT winner, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony, and just really a giant of particularly the stage, but really everything he ever did, right? Mm-hmm. And I was reading today some coverage of his death in the Hollywood Reporter, and they showed a link. I have never seen this before. He did in the I want to say it's like the 1998 All-Star game, some All-Star game, baseball All-Star game. He did a spoken word performance of the Star Spangled Banner, which was just amazing. because he didn't sing, right? He
Right.
like there was a choir humming, and he did. It had
Yeah,
to
I
be
remember.
like the early '90s because Cal Ripken is playing in that game.
Yeah, it was. I want to say it was like 94.
Yeah,
94 sticking out in my head for some reason. Yeah, that was really cool.
and I'd never seen it before, and yeah, I'd never seen it before. So I recommend people to look it up, check it out.
It's a good plan.
I think
Alrighty.
okay, so that is thank you, AJ, for reminding us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and I guess that's our show for tonight, huh?
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot this week that was on, so
We found ways to fill the time.
We do. We always do.
All right, thank you
all
everybody
right.
for
Well,
listening.
next week we have the same things plus Winona Earp.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you
next
everybody for listening.
Yes, thank you for listening.
Be sure to check out all our links and sites and everything.
And
Indie Media has a lot going on.
yeah, and if you haven't, stop over at Sci-Fi Vision's YouTube page too, because all the interviews and everything are over there. And
all right,
we're
cool.
almost at 4,000 watch hours. Have less than 100 hours left, so watch our
Go
YouTube.
watch.
Get over there and watch stuff.
Help us out there.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, you guys. Have a good
Okay.
week.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye bye.